It's Friday, and that means it's time for... Oh, it's Friday Follies, the health dangers of swimming pools, unwashed body parts, and Democrats' personal reading rainbow. Joining us with all the details, Raymond Arroyo, Fox News contributor. I've had to get through this without laughing. This is like a Harvey Korman, Tim Conway laughing moment.
Hold yourself together.
What are Democrats, though, this is very important, doing right now instead of fixing this border crisis?
Well, as you know, Laura, I'm a big advocate for literacy. I've always supported it. And there's nothing like reading a good story aloud. Unfortunately, 25 Democrats have taken it upon themselves to read the Mueller report as a protest. Now, this could set public reading back for decades.
The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired.
A Facebook representative testified that the Trump campaign showed interest in WikiLeaks
surrounding Russian influence in the U.S. presidential election.
Were linked to the special counsel's oversight.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Couldn't they have read Treasure Island or To Kill a Mockingbird? What are they accomplishing by reading the Mueller report? Not only is it poorly written, we know how it ends. We know how it ends. I preferred LeVar Burton.
Oh, no, this was... But Sheila Jackson-Lee does have a dramatic flair, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
She might be able to, do voiceover.
Okay, I've got to get to something important. Something shocking I learned, and with summer coming, people should be aware of this. According to a new study by the Water Quality and Health Council, 51% of Americans use a public pool as a communal bath.
What?
They get in the pool in lieu of showering.
Oh, no.
All that dirt and sweat diminishes the effectiveness of the chlorine, making these stats even more terrifying. Brace yourselves, America. 40% of American adults admitted they pee in the pool. 24% of Americans go in the pool within an hour of having diarrhea. This is why I don't go near water parks, public pools. Don't do it.
Wait a second. Okay, see, all of those people... All of those people have they showered before they've gone in? That's why it says, and you go to a club or something, shower before you go in. But you are a fairly aquatic person, aren't you, Raymond?
No, I am not. My aquatic life is confined to the shower.
Raymond,
and Laura, you saw that thing floating in the pool. Do you know fecal matter can last 10 days, even in a properly treated pool?
This is a new low for this
No. You were asking me earlier, well, doesn't the chlorine help protect you?
Chlorine fixes it.
CDC figures, ladies and gentlemen, listen.
God, this is
hepatitis A, 16 minutes it takes chlorine to kill it. Giardia, parasite, 45 minutes. Here's the killer. Cryptoparasite.
What's that?
It takes 10 days
for
chlorine to kill it. I'm reading these stats.
Oh,
I'm helping you, Laura.
made that.
Oh, before we go on, the Democrats have gotten through volume 1 of the Mueller report.
Okay.
Following the Oval Office meeting, the president's personal counsel called McGahn's counsel and relayed that the president was...
How much? Well, Harper Lee, it ain't. Speaking of stinkers, you found a bizarre social media thread this week.
It asked whether people cleaned their feet in the shower. It was all over Instagram, Facebook.
It started as, did you clean your leg?
Yeah, and the reactions were bizarre. By the way, we did an online poll on Twitter right before the show, and until now we have like thousands and thousands of people. 68% said they did wash their feet, and 32% said they did not wash their feet in the shower. Here's what some of the responders said. Chris Metcalf on Twitter said, I think they're passively cleaned by the soapy water on the floor of the tub. David Moore in photo tweeted, please, Laura, I'm not telling you what I wash in the shower.
Why are you so fascinated by this topic? I really want to know.
Well, it did make me think it could cause injury in the shower with the soap under your foot. If you are standing, the soap...
You do the ostrich thing like I do. You pull one leg up and you clean it, and then you put that down, you clean the other.
Raymond wears socks in the shower.
No, I
he
don't.
never shows his feet. I will only know that because he's told me.
My feet are pristine, I have to admit. But you do clean them. I mean, I don't know why.
By the way, Taylor Swift does not wash her legs, as she told Ellen recently.
When you shave your legs, isn't the shaving cream is like soap, right? So that counts. So,
Oh, for sure.
That's like saying shampoo cleans your ears.
Oh, wait, we have an interruption here.
Do we?
What's happening? We want to check back on the House Democrats one more time. What are they doing?
That he did not think it was sustainable for Comey to stay on as FBI director for the next 4 years.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Laura. I was cleaning my feet during that segment.
Isn't it strange,
trying to keep myself awake.
Isn't it strange, though, how people on social media will post things, and you know they're stupid, but then it gets you to thinking about it.
I don't think about this, Laura. I mean, look, one way or another, whether you're cleaning your body and the soap is on the corrugated surface.
Oh, this is a slow news night.
That will help clean whatever's there. Unless you've been walking through a mud pit or you're playing lacrosse or something. How dirty are you?
I have 7 boys coming over to my house tomorrow.
In your tub?
For a birthday party.
Oh, I thought this was the
about the
shower.
pool. No, I'm thinking about the pool. That's what I'm thinking about.
Well,
all right, coming
put extra chlorine.
All right. They're all going to shower before they go in the pool. Joining me now with reaction, Harmeet Dillon, attorney and member of the Trump 2020 Advisory Council, John Eastman, senior fellow at the Claremont Institute and constitutional law professor at Chapman University, and Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor. Ari, I want to start with you. I want to hit that last bit of the video we just played. Barr seems to almost... He kind of almost welcomes all these partisan barbs, and they're really nasty being thrown at him. So how important is it that these new investigations unfold without any other interference?
Well, it's vital. And if the Democrats held themselves to the same standards they tried to hold the Trump administration to, they'd be guilty of obstruction of justice themselves, the way they're going after the Attorney General. You know, Laura, you played that long clip of the Democrats criticizing Barr. Do you remember when Eric Holder, Barack Obama's Attorney General, called himself Barack Obama's wingman? Those were his words. He called himself his wingman. Do you recall any people going nuts saying, how can he say that? He's supposed to be independent. Look, Bill Barr is a seasoned, experienced Attorney General, and that's exactly what we need now to figure out what, if anything, was done improperly when they authorized all these wiretaps and surveillance techniques to be used against Trump.
John, the tweet that just came out about 20 minutes ago from our old friend Jim Comey, the following. He writes, the AG should stop sliming his own department. If there are bad facts, show us, or search for them professionally and then tell us what you found. An AG must act like the leader of the Department of Justice, an organization based on truth. Donald Trump has enough spokespeople. Boy, they're all singing from the same hymnal, John.
Well, they are, and I think James Comey in particular is a little bit worried where this investigation is going to lead, so they're trying to discredit it on the front end. The facts we do know, Hillary Clinton and the DNC illegally laundered money to Fusion GPS to pay for a dossier with Russian intelligence sources part of it. We learned that this last week. And they did that in order to authorize spying on the opposition political campaign. I mean, this is a scandal of historic proportions, and I'm pleased that Attorney General Barr is finally willing to get to the bottom of it.
I mean, there's something that is so absolutely hilarious about how just unaffected he is by all. He's just like batting it all away. He doesn't get emotional or dramatic about it. And Harmeet, he also was asked about the Mueller report's obstruction decision itself. Let's watch.
Were you surprised that he came back with no recommendation on that obstruction charge? That surprised you?
Yes, that surprised me.
How come?
Because the function of a prosecutor is to make a call one way or the other. He gave an explanation for it, and it's pretty much reflected in the report.
You're okay with him testifying?
Absolutely.
Harmeet, interesting there. I mean, he was himself surprised that there was no obstruction recommendation, but he doesn't care. If Mueller wants to testify, Mueller can testify. I mean, he doesn't look like someone who has anything to hide. He's not worried about stonewalling the Democrats for information. He's like, go ahead.
Right. I mean, he is unflappable in the face of this type of histrionic demagoguery, calling him a KGB agent and so forth. But I think he was actually pulling his punches a little bit in that particular response, Laura, because it was not appropriate for Bob Mueller to put all this dirt and smear and negative information out there about the president in this report and then not be able to pinpoint any particular crime. That's the type of smear and report that we used to see with the independent counsel, which has been discontinued, and it meant to be sort of an impeachment report. And it's not what the special counsel report is supposed to be. It's supposed to be something that talks about crime or not crime. And so by punting on that and really putting this dirt out there, I think he did a disservice to his reputation. Bob Mueller did, and so Barr doesn't want to touch that. He's leaving Mueller to fend for himself on that, which I think is appropriate, but it does merit some criticism.
All right, panel, I want to get to another developing story tonight. New special counsel records are showing that former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn reported multiple instances before and after his guilty plea where he or his lawyers got calls from individuals connected to the administration or Congress. Now, his brother Joe Flynn told Fox's Catherine Herridge he was set up.
Because of his vocal criticism of the Obama administration and specifically the intelligence community, which he came out of, my suspicion is that they were doing everything they could to trip him up and to trap him.
Ari, is this just an upset brother, or is there something to this, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I think you've got to have to let that story play out and find out exactly what they're talking about, who the people are. But what concerns me the most, Laura, just in terms of good government, is the transition by the Obama people to the Trump people was full of booby traps and time bombs, and 2 of them went off against Michael Flynn. With Michael Flynn, it was number 1, threatening the Logan Act to go after him for his contacts, appropriate contacts that an incoming national security advisor should have with foreign officials. And then secondly, unmasking him and then leaking that information, unmasked information to the press. That itself is a crime, the leaking of that classified information. And there were certainly other time bombs and booby traps the Obama people left behind. For example, the dossier briefing to President Trump, which then was immediately leaked, the facts of it, to CNN. And of course, when they downgraded top secret information to secret information so more people in the government would have it, and that way that could leak, further embarrassing Donald Trump on the collusion allegations. All of this was the handwork of Obama's people. And so, Laura, I've always asked the question, what did President Obama know and when did he authorize it? That too needs to be found out.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people that are raising questions in their minds and also now publicly about the former president of the United States himself, given his closeness with the Attorney General at the time. John, I want to ask you, as a professor of law at Chapman, we had an interesting moment. Nancy Pelosi appeared at a Georgetown Law School event and decided to chime in on impeachment in this issue. Let's watch.
I think the president every day gives grounds for impeachment in terms of his obstruction of justice. You never say blanketly, I'm not answering any subpoenas. But everybody today is an instant gratification. You got a subpoena, we want somebody to go to jail. No, it takes time.
John, I'm kind of at a loss to even understand her. But so now you should be impeached because you stand up for the executive's authority to not turn over everything to Congress? I mean, wow, that's a lot of impeachable presidents over our history.
That's right. Almost every president objects to broad subpoenas because there's a thing called executive privilege. Congress has oversight authority. They don't have the authority to interfere with the operation of the executive, and that's why we have executive privilege. But look, there's an old adage, the best defense is a strong offense, and I think the Democrats, because they lost the election and lost control over hiding the secrets of what went on back in 2016, are going on offense to try and make it look like everything that they actually did was Trump did himself, and when the real collusion comes out, we'll have been hearing so much over the last couple of years of Trump's collusion, falsely, that it'll kind of take the sting out of what really happened, which is the Hillary Clinton campaign colluded with the Russians. I mean, there's no doubt about it now.
Yeah, well, by the way, the president tweeted tonight, we're almost out of time, but here's this tweet just a short while ago. My campaign for president was conclusively spied on. Nothing like this has ever happened in American politics. A really bad situation. Treason means long jail sentences, and this was treason. Harmeet, we're almost out of time, but treason, yes or no?
Well, it could be. I don't think we have enough facts there, but even the New York Times is beginning to say what Professor Eastman just said, which is that it was the Clinton campaign that willingly took information from Russians and then unfortunately duped even the Deputy Attorney General into signing off on putting that in front of a court to spy on Americans. That is illegal. Whether it constitutes willing treason, I think we have to suspend judgment until we find out more.
Oh, always the cautious lawyer. I love it. All right, guys, thank you so much.